Methane is a potent greenhouse gas, but where does it come from? Today we're looking at one source of emission: cattle. A single cow can produce between 154 to 264 pounds of methane gas per year. This means that 10 cows produce the equivalent CO2 emissions as driving 8 gas-powered cars per year. Cows are the #1 source of agricultural greenhouse gas emissions annually, and livestock accounts for a staggering 14.5% of global GHG emissions.
Before we dive in too deep, let's look at the typical life of a dairy cow.
First, a mother cow is impregnated either via a bull on farm or artificial insemination by a vet. Similar to humans, 9 months is the average cow gestation period. After giving birth, which starts milk production, the mother typically produces milk for 10 months. If a female calf with strong genetics is born, she is kept at the farm and raised for dairy production. If a male calf is born, this cow is repurposed for low-grade meat or, well, you know what happens next. The mother is re-impregnated about 3 months after the birth of her calf. This cycle continues, rinses, and repeats. With about 1.7 billion calf raised for meat and dairy worldwide, they emit at least 250 billion pounds of methane into our atmosphere annually. That is equivalent to half of all CO2 equivalent emissions of internal combustion engine cars annually. Why does this matter? Methane is a much more potent greenhouse gas given its effectiveness at trapping heat in the atmosphere. Over a 20-year period, methane is 28 times more potent than carbon dioxide, intensifying its role in global warming and climate change. The question is, how can we mitigate these emissions? Better breeding practices from new technologies show promise.
Feanix, a company that we've invested in at Initialized, is building a whole genome sequencing platform to deliver insights for farmers, starting with dairy cows.
Our technology helps farmers make better breeding decisions, resulting in more efficient operations, less genetic diseases, and more sustainable livestock.
Recent advances in AI and fine-tuning of ML models have made it possible for DNA results from one of their tests to be quickly and accurately matched for optimal breeding.
We're now able to do our testing from just a few hairs. No requirements of blood or tissue. That really helps our farmers adopt this technology because a farm worker can go out and collect samples without restraining or sedating their animals.
By improving genetics and herd feed efficiency, Feanix's tech solution means we can have fewer, more methane-efficient cows, producing the same yield of milk.
Genetics has a lot to do with methane emissions. When you think about where methane's actually coming from, it's the rumen, the larger stomach. And when you think about what's happening in there, there's a lot of biochemical processes. And the genetics of the animal can drastically change how those function. And what actually is there is that the DNA causes things like feed efficiency, how much time the cow spends in the sun, how much methane energy is actually being breathed out versus going into the cow producing products. By leveraging genetic selection, research has found that we can reduce a cow's methane emissions by upwards of 20 to 30%. Farmers are always on the line of profit and loss. So a farmer having the most accurate information, going these are actually the DNA letters that I have, this is actually the amount of milk it's going to make, makes the difference between not just one individual animal being at a profit or loss, an entire farm being at a profit or a loss. And that's where our product comes in to really make that change. And this isn't just limited to dairy cattle. DNA is DNA. When I run an animal through my sequencer, it can be a pig, a chicken, a sheep. This all works the same.
I'm Zoe Perret, and you're watching the first of our series in real life, starting with Feanix. If you like what you've watched, click like, share, or subscribe, and let us know who we should interview next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.